Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome in. PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He's Bo Brock. I don't sound like dog shit today. It's back and just in time. I don't sound like dog shit. Who's going to be more dog shit in 2023, Bo Brock? We're talking about the odds for the best first rounder. Cards and Houston Texans. Slow period, albeit right now, as we await our big, grand Thursday schedule release show, 4:30 p.m. time here in Arizona. Put it on your calendar. But in the meantime, Bo Brock, I don't know if you knew this or not. Monti Ossenfort heisted the Houston Texans for a non-quarterback, and in doing so, secured the Houston Texans 2024 first-round pick. So let me ask you, off the top of the show, better first-rounder next year in terms of where's it going to be? Higher first-round pick, Cardinals or Houston Texans?
I'm going to give the edge to the Arizona Cardinals out of the gates.
Wow.
Look, I didn't want to have to do that. That's on you for the way that you posed that question, and you kind of threw me under the bus. But no, I think it's going to be tough. I mean, they just released today because we know who the opponents are. We don't know how they're going to place all these games, right? They're going to reveal that on Thursday. But the Arizona Cardinals, albeit they have a fourth place schedule, just like the Houston Texans, it's a lot tougher. Like the Houston Texans, as far as the division they play in, the AFC South, it's the worst division in football. So you've automatically got 6 games that, at some point can be a coin toss. I mean, the AFC South, Will Levis is the oldest starting quarterback potentially in that division. You got Trevor Lawrence, who's 23, Levis is 23, and then you got the young guns and Anthony Richardson and CJ Stroud. And they don't play really anybody. I was looking at this schedule for the Texans. Listen to this just dog meat schedule that they've got. So they do have they're scheduled to play the Bengals. They're scheduled to play the Ravens. Those are tough teams. But then you look at it, they start to get into the NFC South, another poo-poo division. So you've got the Bucs. We'll see what happens with the Saints if they get better quarterback play. But it's just not a good. There's just not a very tough run for the Houston Texans, not as tough as you would like as an Arizona Cardinals fan that hold their first-round pick and their third-round pick for next year. So, and then you look at the Cardinals, and it's tough because they play not only the NFC West teams like the San Francisco 49ers and, of course, the Seattle Seahawks, who were ahead of schedule on the rebuild, but then they play the NFC East, which emerged last year, and then the AFC North, which has the Bengals and the Ravens and the Steelers. So I just think the edge early on before seeing Jonathan Gannon coach and looking at what this roster shaped up like with your franchise quarterback on the mend, I give the edge to the Cardinals.
So I was about to make fun of the Houston Texans saying, well, they couldn't even win back-to-back games last year. Well, the Cardinals didn't do that either. And all 3 of Houston's wins, by the way, well, they had 3 and then they had a tie. Guess where they all came from? The shitburger that is the AFC South. So they tied the beginning of last year. They tied the Colts 20-20, and everybody threw a victory parade. Then they beat the Jaguars in week 5, and then they didn't win a game again until like week 16. They beat the Titans, and then the finale, of course, they beat the Colts in the finale, 32-31, which was the Levy Smith revenge game where he cost them Bryce Young, which is still low-key hilarious. I'm going to disagree with you for a couple different reasons. I think the Cardinals, again, I'm on this mindset, like I think they have the most influx over under based on like competing variables, like Kyler Murray's health. Is he healthy in September? Is he healthy in November? Is Budda Baker on the team? Is DeAndre Hopkins on the team, right? If they're on the team and we're screwing around and it's Halloween, like they're going to be competitive because those are elite players. Like who's elite for the Houston Texans, like that their season is predicated on? Like I like CJ Stroud. I think he's going to be a nice player long-term. Do I think with this 3-13 team rocking with Robert Woods and John Mechie and company, he's going to light the world on fire? I do not. I also think their defense, I love Will Anderson Jr. I think he will be elite. He's not elite yet. I mean, they're starting Malik Collins and Sheldon Rankins, their linebacking core. I mean, we bitch and complain and moan about the Cardinals defensive line. Like their defensive line could be worse. Their secondary certainly is worse. They don't have a Budda. They don't have a Jalen Thompson. I think Cardinals have better personnel top to bottom than Houston. And I also think, Bo Brock, even though we're going to talk about strength of schedule here in a second, like the quarterbacks dictate the AFC. That is not the case in the NFC. And if the Cardinals had the X factor and Kyler Murray, and that's what I'm banking this on. Like if Kyler doesn't play, let's say he set back, or they're just like, it's not worth it, which would be terrible, right? Then you're going to pencil me down as somebody that's going to say this team's going to have at minimum a top 3 pick.
Yeah.
But Kyler Murray's playing next year in the NFC with, Brock Purdy and Geno Smith and whatever the hell Washington's doing, right? All these teams that think they can screw around with C+, B- quarterbacks and contend. And you have Kyler Murray and Jonathan Gannon with big chips on their shoulder. I'm not saying they're a playoff team, but like, could I see them win 6, 7, 8 games? Of course I could. In the NFC, the terrible NFC. So that to me is when you're Houston and you got to play the elites, even though your division isn't great, you look around the landscape of the AFC, everybody else has big boy elite franchise. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is in the AFC now, and they're an afterthought. So to me, I go back to who are the quarterbacks they're going to play. I don't care about strength of schedule. Quarterbacks, and Houston will face infinitely more franchise elite level quarterbacks than the Cardinals were. And for that reason, Bo, I think Houston will have the higher pick.
The only reason I can the best case I can make, and Agent 47 is already alluding to it in the chat, saying as far as CJ Stroud, they're playing a rookie quarterback. They're going to be top 5. He said it a couple times. He's not sure if Stroud's going to be good long term, and I think that he has every right to be skeptical about CJ Stroud, especially year one. Because I was looking at the Ohio State quarterback thing. It's real. I mean, they haven't produced outside. Justin Fields might be the best, but when you look at the quarterbacks that they've produced, I was looking it up. Troy Smith in 2007. He was a 5th rounder. He went 4-4, had like 1,700 yards, 8 touchdowns, 5 picks. Terrell Pryor, remember when he was a quarterback? He threw 9 touchdowns, 12 picks. He was 3-7 as a starter. Cardell Jones won a national championship. He was a 4th-round pick. Less than 100. No, Cardell Jones is alive. The next guy is not. Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins, I'm sorry.
He was the one that's untimely death. Dwayne Haskins was 3-10 as a starter. Justin Fields is 5-20 as a starter. Combined, Ohio State quarterbacks are 15-41, dating back to Troy Smith. So Ohio State quarterbacks haven't translated to wins at the pro level. So that's the one thing where I'll say, okay, CJ Stroud year one, there is something to it to where that system doesn't produce immediate results. So maybe the Arizona Cardinals, could Houston still be a bottom dweller in even a porous AFC South? Sure. But they should be able to sneak out a couple wins. And we've seen how competitive it is at the top of the draft. We were there living it at the end of the Cardinals season, where a win goes a long way and can drop you from a top 3 team to a team picking 6th or 7th or 8th. It's really crazy how competitive and tight it is.
Their number 1 receiver is Robert Woods, who the LA Rams,
Bobby Trees.
Yeah, I mean their team has maybe the worst set of skill players in the NFL. And we talked about it yesterday. The Cardinals, via Mike Clay of ESPN, they think they've got a top 6 receiving core. They've spent the most on their wide receiving core. Does that matter? They've got Dameon Pierce, does Houston. He's coming off an injury. I think that's real. You're not setting your quarterback up for success. And everybody's like, well, where are the weapons for CJ Stroud? And I think it's twofold. I don't think Houston defensively is going to be very good because they're converting to a new defense. Lovie Smith ran a very different defense than what Demeco Ryans is going to do. It's a completely different scheme. That's going to take time. I think Demeco Ryans is going to do a good job, and I think CJ Stroud's a really good prospect. But we're talking about projecting over 12 to 18 months as compared to, this fall, I think they're going to be bad. I think they're going to be really bad.
Let's
and I don't care that their division is middling. You're telling me right now under Doug Peterson, year 2, Jacksonville's not going to win 12 games? Of course they are. They're going to sweep that division. Even with Tennessee's uncertainty, give me Mike Vrabel over Demeco Ryans.
But I want you to realistically look at the evidence. I want you to be in a jury of 11 of your other peers, and you've got to determine which has the tougher road in 2023, right? So the NFL research released the strength of schedule going into this year, right? Let's take a look at that as far as the Cardinals versus the Houston Texans, and it's got the Cardinals 11th. Their 4th place schedule has them 11th strengths of schedule, just outside the top 10. Looking in, it's over 500 combined from last year, 148, 136, and 3. That's a 519 win percentage. And then you've got the Texans 30th this is a true fourth place schedule. 123, 163, and 2. That's a 431 win percentage combined from the opponents that they're going to face from last season. Now, last season doesn't mean this season, but then you look at the Arizona Cardinals as far as the roster and how it's been built this offseason and cleaned up. It's been a necessary evil for Monti Ossenfort, but the reality that there's not going to be a Kyler Murray for at least a couple weeks. You're staring down David Blau, Colt McCoy, maybe a Clayton Tune at the quarterback position.
For now,
you know, it's just if somebody put under pressure to say who's got a better chance of finishing with a worse record, the Cardinals or the Texans right now on May 9th, what are you going to say? What's the evidence tell you?
The evidence tells me that the Arizona Cardinals, it's hard to be really bad when you have elite players. Houston does not have that contingent to fall back. That Houston's roster is its roster. There's a good chance it gets worse because if guys go down, they're dipping into their practice squad. Again, I go back to if I could sign up right now, like if Kyler Murray comes back mid-October, that's most of the season. He misses a month. He misses 4 games. You're telling me out of a 17-game season, like I get 13 games of Kyler Murray, we're going to be competitive in most of those. And then you talk about DeAndre Hopkins. Is he on the team? And they just wait to cut him or release him or trade him either at the deadline or in the offseason. I mean, I'm telling you right now, if Kyler Murray is back playing well and DeAndre Hopkins is in the lineup, they're not trading DeAndre Hopkins. I think the contingent with D-Hop is training camp, somebody goes down and they move him, or if Kyler Murray is not back and they can't use him. If K1 and D-Hop are connecting and it's Halloween, like you're not getting rid of D-Hop. And I watched those two individuals basically by themselves get this team to competitiveness in Kingsbury's second and third year. It was K1 and D-Hop and then a little bit of J.J. Watt mixed in to galvanize the defense. That was it. So I know we're a couple of years removed from that, and Kyler's coming off major injury, but you're telling me I get Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins and Budda Baker's motivated, proving people wrong. Like Budda Baker would be the best defender on the Houston Texans. DeAndre Hopkins would be the best player offensively for Houston. Kyler Murray's way better than CJ Stroud. Like those are factors I'm going to take in. I also think, by the way, the LA Rams, their team is basically whittled together with a couple aging players, and then you can make an argument the worst, collection of talent in the NFC West, even more so than the Cardinals. San Francisco, there's uncertainty with Brock Purdy's health and what's going on with Trey Lance. They may be starting Sam Darnold. And Geno Smith, had Cliff Kingsbury had his act together those 2 games, like the Cardinals should have at least split with Geno Smith last year. I know they have an influx of talent, but I think the Cardinals are getting 2 in the division. I think they're going 2-4, which if that's the case with a 4th place schedule, they got to get to 6 wins. They only got to win 4 other games. I don't think Houston's going to 6 wins.
It sparks an interesting conversation because when you look at the numbers that was released today by NFL Research is a bit jarring just because you look at the strength of schedule. Yeah. But I wanted to do this exercise because how tough is their schedule really going to be? And you have to kind of look at the opponents as you started to kind of break down the NFC West. So let's go to our friends over at Tier Maker and let's get into the Arizona Cardinals opponents for 2023. Producer Jacob got this all set up. Now we have all the teams in the NFL on this list, all the teams that they're not playing, including themselves, the Arizona Cardinals there on the bottom. And then you see all the teams here below that. We'll rank these in tiers. So you got the contenders, you got the playoff teams, you got the mids, and you've just got the plain bad. Let's start here. We'll just go with the Chicago Bears. Johnny, I think we both agree this is a bad team despite all the moves that they've made.
Bad team, sad team, not a good team. A team that, listen, everybody, we talked about it yesterday. We love Matt Eberflus. They had the number 1 pick. They're terrible. They're a bad team, and they're going to stay a bad team at least this year.
And it looks like, so this is going, so let's go with the next one. The Cincinnati Bengals are clearly a contender. Anytime they got Joe Burrow, they got the best receiving core in the league. They are a true contender. That's easy enough for us. So the first 2 done, right? Bengals contenders, Bears bad. Up next on the list, the Cleveland Browns. This is a team that I would put in as mid, Johnny. Yeah.
They're the definition of mid. And I like the Cardinals' chances because they took Drew Petzing. They know this staff well. They're going to be starting Deshaun Watson, which, I mean, he's an electric playmaker when he's right, but they're a mid team. They're an 8-9 team, a 7-10 team.
Yeah. And I'll say this for the Bears, that they have a ceiling of mid, don't you think?
Sure.
Yeah. So they're bad right now, have a ceiling of mid. The Browns, they're mid. They could drop down back to bad.
Or they could be a playoff.
They could turn. Yeah. San Francisco, put them right up there in the contenders. I don't care what's going on.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second, Mr. Jacob. Sam Darnold could be their quarterback come September. There's rumors right now. Darnold is already, according to friend of the program, Rap Sheet. This isn't Joe Blow at samfran.net. Rap Sheet came out and basically said Darnold is better than Trey Lance, which we know Trey Lance is a mega bust. We thrive in it. And then also Brock Purdy has they're trying to do like T2 Terminator robot arm. He can't even throw a football yet. I am hesitant to put them in a contender spot when you look at the Lance. Like, you have to have a quarterback. And is Sam Darnold going to quarterback this team with Brock Purdy can't throw? I'm fine with putting him in contender, but I think they're closer to just a playoff team than a contender, in my opinion.
You don't think they're going to win the NFC, despite the quarterback play? They're going to win the NFC West outright, correct?
That's not but you're a playoff. You're not a contender.
Okay.
You could
all right, fine. Throw them in the playoff team. Throw them in the playoff team.
I thought. When's the last time Shanahan's had elite teams back? Like, they got expectations now. Everything I heard last spring was Trey Lance was going to be a Pro Bowl quarterback. I wanted to throw up. PFF had him as a sleeper MVP candidate. Guy can't play. Can't play.
That's what everybody's saying. Pick and spread saying they're contenders. Stop. Jalen Blair, what's he saying? I don't care what the quarterback, the QB is in San Francisco. The defense will take in the NFC Championship game. No matter
I like
That's what
Jose
I'm saying.
said.
That's
look what Jose said. Jose, look at Jose's next comment. There you go.
Niners are nothing without Demeco Ryans. That remains to be seen. New DC there, familiar face. Good old Steve Wilkes. Stevie Boy is there in San Francisco. I saw him at the he was in the crowd at the Lakers Golden State game.
I thought you were going to say he was at the country concert at State Farm Stadium. Why is he in Arizona?
Let's continue this. We got the Colts. They don't play the Colts. The Colts snuck their way on.
I think I made a mistake there. I think I had Colts instead of Eagles. I think they do play the Eagles.
All right, we're good there. Dallas Cowboys playoff team. Yeah, I think you can say they're a playoff team. They had a pretty decent draft. I hate to say it, but I can't deny it.
Falcons are bad. They've been bad. Arthur Smith's a bad coach. He should have lost to David Blau, the Magic Man, when the Cardinals were trying to purposely lose games at the end of the year. They're not mid. I don't care how good Bijan Robinson is. They're going to be the most fun 6-win team in the NFL. But you're still winning 6 teams. You are, in fact, bad, a.k.a. ass. Put them down with the Bears. They are not competitive.
Okay.
Dude from Cincinnati is their QB, the little popcorn armed quarterback. No thanks.
Yeah, your boy Desmond Ridder. Speaking of popcorn or armed quarterbacks, let's go to old Danny Dimes in the New York Giants.
Mid.
Yeah, I mean, they could be a playoff team, but I think they fall from grace to a mid.
We're gonna keep it.
I don't foresee the NFC East getting 3 teams in the postseason again this year.
They snuck up on. Look, Daboll's fantastic, but I think they're back down to earth. They're not going to be a terrible team, but I still think their talent level is low. I don't like the move for Darren Waller this offseason. I think they should have traded for D-Hop, and they paid Danny Dimes over $40 million. Just an egregious decision.
All right, so
QB purgatory.
This one's going to be fun. As you mentioned, the Los Angeles Rams. I wish we could put below bad. They're atrocious. We'll see. They still have the option of Stafford and Cooper Kupp. Yeah, there we go. There they are. Los Angeles Rams, just because we like to throw salt in the wound. They're in the awful category. They're below bad. They still have the duo, the battery we should call of Stafford Kupp, but that's it.
Yeah, they're between awful and bad, but their ceiling is mid. Donald, Cooper Kupp, and like, does anybody think Stafford's going to make
the defense is so bad?
Stetson Bennett is going to play games for them this year. You watch. Stetson Bennett's going to be out there.
This one I think is a contender. Baltimore Ravens. I'll throw them in contention there. With Lamar Jackson, I think that they are contenders, even though they haven't shown that yet. They just seem like a team that's on the rise this offseason.
Look at the trend, though, the contenders. What conference do they play in, Bo Brock? Oh, it's not the trash NFC conference. It's the AFC where the Houston Texans play.
Both those teams in our contenders are AFC North opponents. I mean, that's who the Cardinals, that's the reality of the schedule. They've got to face that division. You know what? Yeah, okay. So the Seahawks, Where do we want to throw these guys? Mid or playoff team?
They're mid. They're the definition of mid. Again, very similar to the Giants. Where
I love doing this with Johnny. I mean, you can't even give them their flowers for making the postseason last year.
Awesome.
I thought they had a good draft.
Congrats, guys. Congrats, Geno. Hey, congrats, Geno Smith. Time to wake up. If your quarterback's Danny Dimes or Geno Smith, you're not going anywhere. Listen, I think
Mr. Ranger saying Ravens but not Niners is a good point. But this is a collaboration, so I'm going off with my co-host as well, and he doesn't.
The Niners could be starting Sam Darnold. I'm factoring the injury because everybody's counting out the Cardinals because their quarterback's not healthy.
The injury that's happened 2 times the last 2 years for the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. When Lamar Jackson's in there, you get good quarterback play. Okay, Steelers bad quarterback play with Kenny Pickett. They're either bad or mid.
Tomlin's too good. Like they're 500 every year.
He can get even the middest results with a bad team, which
that's a winnable game though.
Yeah, let's quickly throw the Texans in bad.
Yep.
Shoot, throw Washington in bad.
Yep.
They could be awful. They could quickly be awful.
Hang on for Philadelphia.
Sam Howell. Okay.
Friends. Guess who has the hardest strength of schedule this year in the NFL? That would be the Philadelphia Eagles. They lost both coordinators. They lost their DC in waiting and Nick Rallis. They were gutted with a bunch of defensive talent. Everybody's loving what they got with Georgia, and I think their draft's going to be good in time. Put the Eagles in contention. I'm going to tell you right now, the easiest team to fade, bet MGM or otherwise, for win totals next year is the Philadelphia Eagles. Bet the under. That's a team that's got 9 wins.
What's it coming out of? What is it, 10.5?
Yeah, or 11.5. 9 wins, win all. And I love Jalen Hurts. Nick Sirianni is a big-time fraud. He's losing both coordinators. Their team has been got. You don't lose both coordinators and suddenly, we're great again. So I'm going to tell you right now, that's right, Agent 47. The people understand. They're a contender with an asterisk. I love, by the way, like there's no dynasty on here. There's not Kansas City. Like there are these teams that people think are going to be good, but there's big fat caveats. San Francisco and Philadelphia. So yeah. Let's put that little sweet asterisk. What's that say?
Just a contender with an asterisk, as you'd ask.
Jacob. Just listen. I'm 35 years old. I've been watching the NFL for a long time. It's not as cut and dry as a lot of people want to think. Okay.
Remember the one team that had so much success the previous year? They had 2 coordinator changes and they got their doors blown off to start the season. The Tennessee Titans. Remember that when the Cardinals went into Nashville? There is going to be some growing pains for the big bad Philadelphia Eagles, but yeah, okay, contender with an asterisk. I'm fine with that.
I look at this schedule and I'm telling you right now, like this is a team. If the Cardinals have their players, they could surprise people. And no one wants to hear that because everybody's penciling them for Caleb Williams next April. Washington, Houston, Atlanta, the Bears, dog shit teams that you could easily beat. And then you screw around in your own division. I'm not here to sell hope to people. I'm keeping it real. I host a bet show every day at noon, trying to put money in people's pockets. Phase the Eagles, phase the Texans, bet the Cardinals over. Bet the Cardinals over, by the way, is like 4.5. That's free. That's free money right now.
Here's the biggest issue with this when you look at especially the bad teams that we've identified here: the Bears, the Falcons, the Texans, and Washington. Is I think the Cardinals only have 1 home game. I think they only face the Falcons at home. Everybody else is on the road. So it's like, sure, you're facing some bad teams, but then you're going to have to travel across the country, go to BFE, Maryland, just outside of DC and play the Commanders.
I'm not sure you're aware of this or not, but the Cardinals, fun fact, have won 1 home game in the last decade.
I know. Is it well, I want to get into that too. And maybe if we can figure out maybe the ideal first 5 games for the Cardinals and probably a worst case scenario for the Arizona Cardinals first 5 games, but the win total, according to multiple betting sites, including BetMGM, Johnny, 4.5. You're thinking hammer the over on that.
Yeah, hammer it over with our friends at BetMGM. You can get a ton of quality NFL future bets right now. Also right now, we've teamed up with BetMGM this season into this fall. Of course, we're going to have every single game for the Arizona Cardinals at BetMGM Sportsbook at the Great Lawn at State Farm Stadium. And then how about tonight? Watch along party, BetMGM watch party at the Landscape. at State Farm Stadium with our friends at PHNX Suns. We're going to have special offers, giveaways, announcements, tons of good food, and great times, great vibes. Come help us cheer on the Phoenix Suns as they take on the Denver Nuggets in the pivotal Game 5. The Suns away playoff watch parties are presented by Neutral. How about this? Right after the show, happy hour pricing. $6 Rally, the Valley Margaritas. Hello. Great stuff, including our Knockout Nights Cornhole League, May through August, first Friday of every month. Giveaways, specials, drink specials, food specials, BetMGM prizes. If you haven't signed up yet with BetMGM yet, use bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers, by the way, depending on where you live. But for our Arizona audience in particular, you're going to get $100 in bonus bets on your first wager with BetMGM. Again, make sure you use that bonus code PHNX. Check the links in the show notes for details. And now listen to our guy, my friend Shane Diefenbach, talk about it in the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
Big cheers to our PHNX Suns crew out there tonight at the BetMGM Sportsbook at State Farm Stadium. Big cheers to our friends over at Four Peaks. Continue to do it 25 years later. They're celebrating 25 years here in the Valley of the Sun. They've been crushing it. If you think about Arizona, you think about, of course, all the great sports teams. And, of course, you think about Four Peaks Brewing Company. Kilt Lifters, the flagship. It's great. It's on tap out there at BetMGM. It's also on tap at Four Peaks. They've got the bourbon barrel kilt lifter, which is unbelievably smooth.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I can't go wrong there. I know when I'm going to be putting my feet up and watching the Suns game tonight on Fubo TV, I'm going to be drinking a Wow Joy Bus Wheat, the #1 wheat beer in the state of Arizona. That's going to be what my night looks like. Also, Four Peaks, they've got some great events going on, like they're doing teacher appreciation. So check out what's going on. It's going on all week, but thank a teacher and nominate them. Win grants, Four Peaks swag, and a grand prize of a custom makeover of their teacher's lounge at school. That's going on through May 12th. Go to 4peaks4teachers.org and nominate a teacher or donate. It's great. Also, they got a good event going on with the D-backs. Four Peaks, 4 seats. One lucky winner will get 4 seats to an upcoming Diamondbacks game. Tickets come with D-Bucks, so you can grab some food, ice cold Wow Wheat or Hop Knot. And you can enter by going at 4 Peaks Brew on Instagram. They got the link in the bio there. Check out 4 Peaks Brew or 4 Peaks Pub on your socials. Keep up with Arizona's, of course, hometown brewery. You got to be 21 years or older to drink 4 Peaks, and you got to drink it responsibly.
So I've been in the lab lately here at the Maricopa Gold's Gym. And I'm not going to take my shirt off for the audience because I want people to continue tuning in. But somebody that has their shirt off regularly, Bo Brock, is the Arizona Cardinals current all-pro safety, Budda Baker. He's also been in the lab, so much so that our man has abs, it looks like, on his back. Budda Baker posting this on Twitter briefly before showtime today. Hate me or love me, you're going to respect me. All this work I'm putting in, the hate don't affect me. Number one, we love you, Budda. We don't hate you. And number two, good God, what is happening with Budda?
What is going on? Budda, I think, could snap your arm with just his back muscles alone.
Yeah.
You put your arm by his back muscles, he could just snap it right in half. Or I think maybe his back, he could strangle a full-sized elk.
He is a man on a mission. He's motivated. And I hope he's motivated to play for the Arizona Cardinals because you see what he's been doing. He obviously wants more money. The Cardinals are hesitant to give him more money. I don't think that's the case forever, but I also think that they're not going to move him. The time to move him has passed, and he's going to be under contract for the team at least for the next 6 to 8 months. So I love what I'm seeing. I love when players get pissed off and they go and they take it out on the opponents, because the Cardinals, if they need anything, they need Budda Baker, because Hopkins could be dealt at any moment, regardless of what they say. And Kyler Murray's not healthy. Who does that leave? That leaves one guy, and it's number 3, Bo.
Yeah, it is crazy where I don't know. It's this quote. I don't know anybody that hates Budda Baker. I think he's universally beloved. I mean, I know that there's kind of a stalemate as far as his contract goes, but the organization still, they love Budda Baker, enough to make him the number one, safety, highest paid safety in the NFL. They don't love him that much, but they still love him as a player. And as far as business sense, it doesn't make sense to give him a new deal, but still, he's putting in the work. He's been training away from the facility. Him and Jalen Thompson. I know it's cliche, but these guys are in the best shapes of their careers, and that's scary to think about. Yeah. So, Budda Baker. I know you're not supposed to use your back when you move or pick up things, but when you have a back that strong, I would be picking everything up. No legs involved, just all back.
So Budda Baker right now, according to our friends at Over the Cap, is about the 7th ranked paid safety in the NFL. And a lot of that was predicated on when he got his deal. I'm going to ask you, Bo, off the top of your head, we got these 6 players ahead of him, whether or not you would take Budda Baker over these players. You ready? Rapid fire.
Yeah.
All right. Budda Baker or Justin Simmons of the Broncos?
Take Simmons.
He's 30 years old. Okay. Budda Baker, Harrison Smith, who's 34 years old, has a bigger, more inflated contract. All right, how about Budda Baker, Jesse Bates III?
And he just got paid.
Falcon. Yeah.
Probably
win
Budda.
Your card. Okay. Budda Baker or Jamal Adams? I think you know.
Come on. Don't even justify that with a response.
$70 million. He's 28 years old. Minkah Fitzpatrick is number 2 at 27. Budda or Minkah?
Yeah, I would probably take Minkah just because he takes the ball away.
Yeah, and then number 1, Derwin James, 27 as well, at $76 million total contract value, Bo.
Yeah, I'd take Derwin.
And I think the common theme is Derwin James, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jamal Adams, Harrison Smith, and Justin Simmons, Bo. They're all the same age or older than Budda Baker, and they have more money coming to them. But look at some of those teams. Steelers aren't winning. The Seahawks regret that contract. Falcons aren't winning. Harrison Smith, that contract hasn't aged well, and the Broncos aren't winning. So you can make an argument. You can pay your safety, but is it going to result in wins long term? I think it's smart to take this year to year, and I think I would put Budda in the top 3 of 5. But I think what he means for this team, is have all of TJ Watt to lean on. Like the Cardinals need Budda Baker more than
absolutely do.
Safeties.
Yeah, and like me selecting some of those and picking some of those safeties over him is not an indictment on Budda Baker whatsoever. But yeah, I there's no chance I'm taking Harrison Smith. He's 34 years old.
It's just
but the only thing I would say, like I give the edge on most of those guys, is because of their coverage abilities. It's just a little bit better than Budda, who is more kind of a physical run stopper. Those other guys.
And I think to your point is that's why there's been some caution from folks to extend Budda into his 30s. Is that how is his game going to translate long term? Because he's not somebody like Justin Simmons has 5 picks a year when he's healthy. I mean, he's a
6 last year.
Yeah. That's just not Budda's thing. Budda will have a couple, 2 to 3 maybe, but some of these guys, Derwin James, they take the ball away consistently. Budda does that, but just in a different way. So I don't know. I still would love to see Budda. If I'm going to pull a trigger on a jersey, it will be Budda Baker all white from the team store or from NFLshop.com. But I want assurance that, like, I need to see a picture of Budda and Gannon like embracing and having a great time, and then I'm going to place my order for an all white number 3.
I think that's fair. The Cardinals just did release. You're not going to see Budda this week, but they've got rookie mini camp officially going on. They'll have practice going on Friday. We're going to talk to some of the players on Thursday. I think rounds 2 through 4. We'll hear from those guys. But no, Budda Baker remains motivated, and I would fully expect him being the consummate pro to be in there when the time does come for mandatory mini camp and the rest of the squad.
Do you think it's interesting that the Cardinals claimed a ex-Eagle defensive back to join Budda Baker in their Desert Bowl, Brock? According to Field Yates, the Cardinals.
That's official. The Cardinals made they released that it's official claim. That they got this player back. He'd been on the practice squad a couple times before between 2019 and in 2020. Andre Sachere He comes back, primarily played teams for Philly, but I guess he is a JG guy, and they got a good relationship.
Well, he's 27. He began his career as an undrafted rookie with the Texans, hence the undrafted guys. He's been in the NFL for a hot minute, had a cup of coffee with Detroit. He's bounced around, but Gannon, they love those undrafted defensive backs. And again, that's why there may be some hesitancy, albeit this is a special teamer, to pay big money to defensive backs. We saw what they do in the NFL draft. They use their first 2 picks on premium positions, left tackle and edge rusher. It's curious to see if that continues. I think that it does. It's also going to be curious how fast I can get to Circle K after this broadcast, pick up my snacks and delicacies before PHNX Suns tips off tonight. Nuggets, Suns. If you haven't been to Circle K, what are you waiting for? We're so excited to partner with our friends at Circle K. Check your local Circle K for the best coffee, beer, snack selection, and premium gas. Again, it's a point of emphasis. Circle K, it's America's thirst stop. Ever heard of it? Best iced coffee, $1.89, 12 packs of beer, $9.99, Red Bull, Monster energy drinks, buy 2, get 1 free, Fast Twitch, 12-ounce bottles. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it's fantastic. Make sure you're not missing out on all the great stuff we got going on right now with Circle K. Text PHNX to 31310 to join their SMS subscriber club. Get a buy 1, get 1 free offer of a 32-ounce Polar Pop. Again, double fist those Polar Pops, unsweetened iced tea for your boy. Head to CircleK.com/store locator. That's CircleK.com/store locator. The Circle K nearest to you, Bo.
Yeah, and OG's, our favorite Arizona Cannabis Kitchen, continues to be innovative in their field. They're rolling out new flavor lineup. You're not going to want to miss out on this. They just dropped that the new generation of OG's gummies, the Cannabis Infusion Company, is revamping that flavor lineup. Just like the Cardinals roster, they're revamping things, but they're coming from an elite place as they they started to put together the fruits and the creams, but they've got some flavors coming out. Red apple, peach. Meanwhile, the company's classics like blackberries and cream, you can still find them along with the new peaches and cream flavor. Look out for these new products, of course, to keep up with all the great products from our friends over at OG's. Go to ogsbrands.com. That's ogsbrands.com. They got something for everybody, including like if you're looking for something to help you get to sleep and keep you asleep, they've got the Sleep Time Gummy, which has that. And you got the Happy Balance Gummy, the strawberries and cream. Can't go wrong with that. Check them out on your socials as well, at OG's Brands. That's at OG's Brands. You got to be 21 years or older if you're going to go seek them out at your local dispensary.
So I teased it earlier in the show that the NFL has prop bets and future bets on our friends at BetMGM Sportsbook. So right now, conference championship winner via our friends at BetMGM, Eagles plus 275, Niners plus 350. I go all the way down, the lowest odds in the conference significantly, plus 8,000 for the Arizona Cardinals, followed by the Buccaneers at plus 4,000, the Commanders plus 3,000, and then the Rams at plus 3,000. And then I flip to the AFC, Bo, the Texans plus 6,600 to reach and win the conference championship. So we love our friends at BetMGM Sportsbook, but according to them, like, Cardinals are the worst team right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough to buck that without playing games. And, I don't think nothing's going to happen between now and then to change that. So that's going to be something, that's the reality that Cardinals fans are going to have to live with. There's going to be a lot of that until, they change it with their actions on the field. And it's going to come down to JG and coaching up this roster that, on paper isn't going to blow anybody away. So I wouldn't say, hey, there's value there, because there's still a long way to go as far as the Cardinals proving and changing the narrative around this organization. And it's going to take a while. And, I can appreciate people being confident and pulling for their team, and we're pulling for them too, because their success will translate to, I'm sure, success for this community and be getting something excited to talk about each and every week. But and every day in this show's case, but this is going to be something that this national narrative is not going away until they really prove something on the field. You're going to see a lot of numbers that are going to be depressing for Cardinals fans between now and the start of the regular season.
I want to get to a couple of these super chats. JT, $2 super chat. Go Suns. Thank you so much, JT. Go Suns indeed. Make sure you stick around for PHNX Suns pregame show coming up in just a few hours. Also, Pickin' Spreads, friend of the program, $5 super chat. I need motivation to write a 7-page paper. Good hell. To tell me what to tell me to do it because I just don't want to. I graduated with my associates on Friday. So last paper, yeah. Well, congrats, Pickin' Spreads.
It's awesome.
To you. Well, the best way to bone up for a good paper is with PHNX Cardinals first to get those creative juices flowing, and then go to Circle K, get a couple energy drinks, and then hammer away. I'm guessing you're a young fella, minimal responsibilities. Focus in on the paper, stay up late, do what you need to do, and then you too could be on PHNX Cardinals one day as an undersized grown adult man.
I mean, if it's a 7-page paper on Monti Ossenfort nailing the 2023 NFL draft, it should be easy. You just crank that thing right out about how he set this team up for success. He got some premium positions early on. I mean, you could churn out 7 pages easy peasy. But I wanted to pay off a tease from earlier because we didn't get to it. I just, as far as nightmare in best case scenarios, because we're going to know what the schedule officially looks like this time Thursday, right? We're going to do our schedule release party. And I was looking at their opponents, and, you factor in, obviously you're not going to stack all the road games in the first 5 games. That's not realistic. But I was thinking at worst case scenario for the Cardinals, if you don't want them to completely bottom out, would be week 1 facing the Niners at any, that would just be brutal to face San Francisco. The Ravens on the road would be bad week 2. Bengals on the road, Dallas would come to Glendale, and then you got Philly on the road week 5. That would be a nightmare case scenario for the Arizona Cardinals. That would be likely staring down an 0-5 start.
Well, I'm going to disagree on something that you said. I think worst case scenario is to open up the season against Philly, but you're not going to probably do that. They're going to probably do a divisional matchup week 1, as you mentioned. So I think there's a good chance that they get the LA Rams, as you're going to touch on here in a second. I think they'd rather have Seahawks Niners week 1. My issue is anytime you put JG with Philadelphia, and if that's a road game and that's early in the season without Kyler Murray, we're going to have problems. We're going to have problems, and I don't want JG and this underutilized roster, this undermanned roster get exposed. I also feel like, Bo, San Francisco lost week 1 last year, albeit with Trey Lance, to Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears.
It was a monsoon.
It was, but I also think if you're going to play Niners, play them early. Cardinals did a couple of years ago, right after their Super Bowl season. But you would need Kyler Murray. David Blau was commendable in the finale last year, throwing that bomb to AJ Green. But to me, it's keep Philadelphia away from the start of the season, please. Push it to November, December, even if it's in Philly. I need Kyler Murray to back Jonathan Gannon in that matchup.
Yeah. So the counter to this would be ideal first 5 games would be week 1 against Houston.
Yeah.
On the road, you got the Falcons at home.
Okay.
Bears on the road. Mm-hmm. Rams anywhere. And Washington on the road.
I agree with that. I also think, though, Rams later wouldn't be bad because there's a better chance that those players start going down. I mean, Stafford and Kupp and Donald are going to be their healthiest in September, you would assume. I think the best case scenario would be open the season against the Commanders. If they're not doing divisional games, Sam Howell is their starting quarterback, or Jacoby Brissett, who played under Drew Petzing, Bo Brock. I think you would have a pretty good idea what they want to do. If you wanted to get an early dub, I would say Commanders or Houston. One of those 2 teams, I think, is your best bet. NFC West is tough because Gannon, we have high hopes, but these other head coaches are elites. They've been to Super Bowls. They've won Super Bowls. That's a problem when you're not playing with K1. K1 is the mitigator for that. He takes care of that. He wipes out your mistakes. You're going into a gunfight with a little kitchen knife with David Blau or Colt McCoy or, God love him, Clayton Tune. You better be able to pull out all the stops. That's going to be tough for Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah. I saw on Twitter today that Commanders fans were losing their mind at ESPN draft analyst Matt Miller because he said the comp for Sam Howell is Colt McCoy. And they completely lost their minds. They went insane.
Didn't Sam Howell go in the 3rd round?
He went in the 5th round.
Like, did Sam Howell play last year?
He played. I think he threw 19 passes.
And he 1 pick, 1 touchdown, 116. Like, come on, guys.
What does Michael Evans keep asking about defense? What's he wanting?
He wants to talk about defense. What do you want to talk about on defense?
We talked Budda Baker. We talked Jalen Thompson.
I'm going to tell you right now, this defense is going to be this. Gannon is going to make himself the scapegoat while the offense gets right, and because he wants to take the heat. We've talked about it. Michael Evans on the show. If you haven't seen it, go look at what Philadelphia did before Gannon's first year as the defensive coordinator for the Eagles. They drafted mostly offense. They were bad early defensively, and then they turned a corner around mid to late season, and then they were, record-setting fantastic this past year en route to the Super Bowl appearance. Gannon wants the arrows and the shots fired at him early. And I also think Gannon, not that Petzine isn't a teacher, but like Gannon thrives with undersized castaways, underutilized misfits, and it takes a little time to get them up and running. And I think like the Kazir Whites of the world, like they thrive on this, but it's going to take a little bit.
Right. And you're going to see, potentially your 2nd and your early 3rd round pick, see a lot of reps get, kind of thrown to the fire a little bit. BJ Ujulari at the pass rush position, and then Garrett Williams coming off an ACL in the defensive secondary. At least you would hope so, because if that's the case, if there's, any truth to what you're saying and outlining, why not? Why not try to get those guys early looks and experience, and just kind of take their lumps now, but and get those guys up to speed. And then you look at your linebacking core, it's like Kazir White. We'll see what they decide to do as far as Zaven Collins. Is he going to be a guy that's going to be, rushing the passer? Is he going to be an off-ball linebacker again? You got, a bunch of guys that, they signed a special teamer today. They've got a bunch of special teamers already like in the fold, like Chris Barnes. Is he a guy that's going to be playing reps at linebacker? The defensive line, as you mentioned, probably the weakest position group on the team. So it's going to be a big work in progress the entire season, no doubt about it.
They will win games they're not supposed to, and they will surprise people.
When we made that tier list, what game are you eyeing as a potential upset?
It's a great question. I don't know. I think they could beat the Steelers because I don't think much of Kenny Pickett. I think they could beat the Cleveland Browns, even if they have Deshaun Watson.
Those are our mid teams.
Yeah, but
let's go upper echelon. What's the one team? What's your
that's
bold?
Tough. It would have to be in division, and I don't think they're going to beat the Niners. I think they could beat both the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks at some point next year. Of course they could. Geno Smith. And again, I think the Niners for the regular season, their roster is bulletproof. Their roster is made for the regular season. Running the ball and defensive prowess, star players. The Niners, no, when they need a quarterback to win for them, they can't do it. That's why they've capped out. Niners have a ceiling. We've seen that. It's hard for them to get to the Super Bowl. Kaepernick was their most dynamic player. He got them to a Super Bowl. And then we saw it with who'd they go to the Super Bowl with under Kyle Shanahan? Jimmy Garoppolo. And he threw 9 passes in the NFC Championship game. Like, the Niners have a ceiling. So let's talk about our friends who do not have a ceiling. And it's our friends at Pins and Aces, by the way. If you guys haven't heard about this, we're going to be out at the Keepin' It 100 golf tournament at Dobson Ranch on May 26th. Pins and Aces is going to be there. We're going to have tons of giveaways, prizes. You can check it all out right now on gophnx.com as well as pinsandaces.com. And better yet, if you want to rock some Pins and Aces gear, check out pinsandaces.com. Use that promo code PHNX, 50% off your first order. Get free shipping at pinsandaces.com. So real talk, I have a Pins and Aces t-shirt. I wear it regularly here in the Copa. I told the show on bets today. I was in the drive-thru at Dutch Bros. I had my shirt, and it's a loud, vibrant shirt, right? It's peacocking, right? Because it's got a lot of cool colors. It's my jam. And it's from Pins and Aces. The woman who was taking my order felt my material on my shirt. She liked the shirt so much. And, I thought that was pretty special.
She came into your car? Like she came in?
I didn't had my elbow out the window. I was like, hey, what's up?
She just touched it?
Let me get my Palm Beach green tea. And then she said, this is a nice shirt.
She just touched you.
Okay, that
she invaded your personal space.
I welcomed it because I was.
You said, "Hey, touch the material."
No, I didn't ask to be touched. I welcomed her as an ambassador of Pins and Aces. And she's like, "This is a really nice shirt," and she came over and she touched it.
And I'd say, "Hey, give me my drink. Don't touch me ever again."
Okay, you ruined it. But point of the story is Pins and Aces, elite
great material. Let's not get your coffee fingers on my nice Pins and Aces shirt here. Let's respect personal space.
She touched it and she liked it. That's for sure.
Strange things are afoot at the Maricopa Dutch Bros.
All good vibes.
Was she on drug? Was she on Molly?
No. She loved the Pins and Aces team.
Hey, nice shirt. Let me just.
That's not at all what took place. You know they have to be overly friendly at Dutch Bros, but she was.
Well, that's too friendly, in my opinion.
She was infatuated with the team. Let's be real.
Yeah, tea's so amazing that people can't keep their hands to themselves.
You ruined Maricopa Dutch Bros for me now.
It's impossible. The place is great. We love it.
It is. Sponsor the show, Dutch Bros.
Yeah. We also love our new Suns spiritual tee. Make sure you check it out, the PHNX Locker. We've got all our great swag up there, phnxlocker.com. We've got our Cardinals Till We Die, Bird Gang Till We Die shirt up there as well. We got the nice one Johnny's wearing, the PHNX football shirt.
Love this one.
Can't go wrong with that. But yeah, you got to check out all the great swag we have at PHNX Locker. You'll have a Dutch Bros employee touching you if you're wearing this t-shirt. I can guarantee it. Yeah, spiritual. One son once said it was spiritual out there on the court. And you can see on this shirt. And this might be one of my favorite shirts that we have going right now. It's a new release. You can get it right now. PHNXlocker.com. Get your swag for this fall when you're hanging out with us at the BetMGM Sportsbook. That's where the PHNX Suns crew is tonight, hanging out, watching that Game 5 of this huge series between the Suns and the Nuggets. Can't wait for that. Big thank you to everybody here tuning in on just a random Tuesday. We're past the draft. You're just listening to Johnny and I talk about Dutch Bros and Copa, and we appreciate all of you chiming in, asking us to talk about defense, asking us to talk about whatever. We're going to be doing it all the way up till training camp, and then things ramp up. Actually, we've got stuff ramping up this week, mandatory rookie mini camp. We're going to talk to the players and the coaches starting Thursday. So already Cardinals, after it seemed like it was a hiatus, they're ramping things up.
We're ramping things up every day. PHNX Cardinals, PHNX Sports on YouTube. Subscribe, like this show right below. Give us the thumbs up button. For Bo Brock, I'm Johnny Venerable. We're back manana. Peace.